Good morning. A happy Monday. Hope this day finds you well. Let's have a couple of verses to get us going. These are the last verses of Psalm 75. Psalm 75 and verses 9 through 10 read, "But I will declare it forever. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up." Now, that may not all be clear to you at first, but look at it in the context of the 75th Psalm. This psalm is a psalm about God's righteous judgment. It begins, "We give thanks to you, O God. We give thanks for your name is near. We recount your wondrous deeds." That God is near, that God is mighty, that God acts. And it goes on to speak in the next verses 2 through 8, about how God will judge the earth, how God will bring down the arrogant. How God will bring a just verdict upon the evil powers of the world. And then it comes around to these last verses. "I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the God of Jacob." And this contrast, "All the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up." And this image of a horn, especially of a horn being lifted up, is one from their context, as an agrarian ancient civilization living in close contact with the earth, with agriculture. Animals become one of the big images that strike you, and so a ram or whatnot has these mighty horns that are its strength and its defense. So the horn is as in an animal's horn. And to have your horn lifted up is an image of victory and vindication and glory, whereas to have your horn cut off is an image of defeat and shame and whatnot. So when it says, "All the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up," it's a picture of judgment upon the wicked and of the righteous being vindicated. It's interesting that the horns of the wicked being cut off is in the first person. And I don't know if the first person is the psalmist. This is a psalm of Asaph, and in the line before the first person was used, "I will sing praises to the God of Jacob." So he could be saying that sort of in obedience to God, he will, enact justice. But if you go previously in the psalm, it has it's takes God's words in the first person. So verse 4, "I say to the boastful, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horn." Uh, that's in the perspective of God speaking, God's judgment upon the earth, it seems. So it may be that it's kind of doing an alternation here, once again reflecting on God's coming judgment. And in any case, that's where ultimate judgment comes from. And so you have a verse like this, and it really is a comfort for the people of God. The language of God's just judgment is a double-sided thing in the scriptures. To the wicked, to those who are unrepentant and persist in evil, it is a stern and convicting reminder, a confrontation. Your time to defy the Almighty is limited, and it's limited by His very forbearance. It is only because of His generous grace that you're allowed to persist in defying Him at all. So don't carry on with it. Repent and turn. The wicked are destined for destruction, but it is a word of comfort and vindication to those who love the Lord, to the righteous, to those who have repented of their wickedness and trusted in Jesus Christ, that evil will not endure, that the state of the world as we live in it, when we see so much injustice, when we see the poor and the vulnerable being trodden down by the mighty and the wicked, that is a temporary state, and God is going to put things right. And so when you read the news and you see all the injustice in the world, you do not need to despair. Evil men are not going to get away with what they are doing. The poor will not always be oppressed. And when you experience that injustice, you need not despair and you need not give in to the danger of bitterness, for God is going to put things right. So entrust yourself to the Lord. Have joy in Him, even in the midst of struggling. May God bless you today.